My dear students, good morning. This is Deepak Kumar, and today I shall be taking up the chapter A Truly Beautiful Mind from your man textbook. Right, dear? As I have already told you about the chapter and I explained each and every part of this chapter, let me remind you the theme of this chapter. A Truly Beautiful Mind is based on the life of Albert Einstein and his Nobel winning work in physics. The great men like Albert Einstein are not born with special signs. These children gradually develop some specific virtues and become great when they grow up. My dear, today I shall be discussing some of the important question and answers given in NCERT. So first, answers to NCERT questions. Okay, question number 2. First question is very simple. Here are some headings for the paragraph in the text. Write the numbers of the paragraphs for each title against the heading. The first one is done for you. It is very easy. Einstein's equation 9. Einstein meets his future wife 7. The making of a violinist 3. Mileva and Einstein's mother 10. A letter that launched the arms race 15. A desk drawer full of ideas 8. Marriage and divorce 11. Right? Question number 2. Who had these opinions about Einstein? Number 1. He was boring. His playmates found him boring. 2. He was stupid and would never succeed in life. His headmaster said that he was stupid and would never succeed in life. 3. He was a freak. Einstein's mother thought that he was a freak. Okay. Question number 3. Explain what the reasons for the following are. Number 1. Einstein leaving the school in Munich for good. Answer. Einstein left the school in Munich because he did not like the regimental environment of his school life. He always argued with his teachers as he always had an opinion that was different from theirs. He felt so stifled and therefore managed to convince his parents to take him out of there. 2. Einstein wanting to study in Switzerland rather than in Munich. Answer. Schools in German-speaking Switzerland were more liberal than in Munich. That's why he preferred to study further in Switzerland. 3. Einstein seeing in Mileva and Ellie. Einstein had a special interest in Mileva as he thought she was intelligent and clever. She showed interest in fine arts like music and literature, unlike people in his family and at the university. 4. What do these tell you about Einstein? Answer. All these indicate that Einstein was a visionary. He was intelligent and clever. He never hesitated to voice his opinion. Once he was sure of his decision and went into action without any hesitation. He left Munich to further his education in Switzerland simply because they were liberal and amenable. He liked to mingle with like-minded people. Question number 4. What did Einstein call his desk drawer at the patent office? Why? Answer. Einstein worked as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. He called his desk drawer at the patent office the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. He called it so because while he was assessing other people's inventions, he was simultaneously developing his own ideas in secret. Question number 5. Why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin Roosevelt? Answer. When the Nazis came to power in Germany, Einstein immigrated to US. The American physicists were in an uproar because of the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin. They feared the Nazis could now build and use an atomic bomb. Einstein's associates feared that the Americans too might try to make a similar invention. Einstein wrote to the American president Franklin D. Roosevelt to warn him of the dire consequences of an atomic explosion. Question number 6. That is, warn him of the dire consequences of an atomic explosion. Question number 6. How did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Answer. Einstein was shocked, grieved and shaken by the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the extent of destruction. What he feared came true. The letter to Roosevelt had the undesired effect of America developing the atomic bomb. He therefore urged the United Nations to make a world government. This did not have any impact, but over the decade he traveled worldwide campaigning for peace and democracy and an end to the arms race. Question number 7. Why does the world remember Einstein as a world citizen? Einstein is remembered as a world citizen because of his geographical and scientific contribution. His theories of relativity changed the perspective through which scientists saw the universe earlier. He also worked towards world peace and nuclear disarmament. Question number 8. Here are some facts from Einstein's life. Arrange them in chronological order. My dear students, I will directly tell you the answer in chronological order. Right? Number 1. Einstein is born in the German city of Ulm. Second, Einstein attends a high school in Munich. Third, Einstein's family moves to Milan. Fourth, tired of the school's regimentation, Einstein withdraws from the school. 5. Einstein joins a university in Zurich where he meets Mileva. 6. He works in a patent office as a technical expert. 7. Einstein publishes his special theory of relativity. 8. He provides a new interpretation of gravity. 9. He is awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. 10. When Hitler comes to power, Einstein leaves Germany for the United States. 11. Einstein writes a letter to US President Franklin D. Roosevelt and warns against Germany's building of an atomic bomb. 12. Einstein dies. My dear students, now let me discuss some of the in-text questions given from your main textbook. Okay, so let's start our discussion. First, short answer type questions. Number 1. Why did Einstein play by himself as a child? Answer. As a child, Einstein found it difficult to interact with children of his age as he did not know what to do with them. He had started talking at the age of 2.5, and he repeated every word twice. His playmates called him Brother Boring. Therefore, he played by himself most of the time. He loved playing with mechanical toys. Question number 2. Why did Einstein want to go to Switzerland to further his studies? Answer. Einstein was a bright student and scored good marks in almost every subject, but he did not like the strict discipline in the school at Munich. Students were not allowed to express themselves freely. As a result, Einstein often clashed with his teachers. He therefore wanted to study in German-speaking Switzerland, a city that was more liberal than Munich. Question number 3. How did Einstein's private life unfold after he completed his studies? Answer. Einstein met Mileva at a university in Zurich. He wanted to marry her, but his mother was against the idea. She did not like the alliance because Mileva was 3 years senior and found her too intelligent to be a housewife. They, however, married in 1903 and had 2 sons. After a few years, their marriage faltered. They were finally divorced in 1919, and the same year, he married his cousin Elsa. Fourth question. What is Einstein's special theory of relativity? Answer. According to Einstein's special theory of relativity, time and distance are not absolute. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. E is equal to mc square. What extraordinary incident happened in the life of Einstein in 1921? Einstein was honored with the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921 for having published his general theory of relativity. This theory involved an accurate calculation in advance the extent to which the light from the stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world, and his work was referred to as a scientific revolution by the media. Question number 6. How did the world recognize Albert Einstein? Albert Einstein, who was initially considered as a freak and failure, turned out into being one of the being one of the scientific revolutionaries the world has ever known. The Nobel laureate, who died in 1955 at the age of 76, was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen and was accepted by the world as a scientific genius. Now let me discuss 3 questions from the section long answer type questions. Number 1. Why did Einstein and his associates write to President Roosevelt? How did he respond? Einstein and his associates feared that the Nazis could build and use the atomic bomb for destructive purpose to gain superpower. So on 2nd August 1939, he wrote a letter to American President Franklin D. Roosevelt to warn him about the impact of such bombs. The letter took no heed of the warning. Instead, the Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own. They dropped the bomb on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, causing large scale of destruction. Question number 2. What were some of Einstein's scientific achievements? Einstein developed his idea on relativity secretly, assessing other people's inventions. The special theory of relativity was published when he was just aged 26 years. This theory gave a revolutionary concept of the relationship between time and distance. This followed the famous formula which describes the relationship between mass and energy, E is equal to mc squared. It was the general theory of relativity that earned him the Nobel Prize in 1915. Question number 3. The headmaster once told Einstein's father, "He will never make a success at anything." Do you think a headmaster should have said such words to the father of a small child? Answer. It is indeed unfortunate that the head of an educational institute should give such remarks about a child. In school, his teachers did not find him specially talented, even though he got high marks. He hated the strict protocols followed by the teachers. He demanded more freedom of expression, which explains his desire to move from Munich to German-speaking Switzerland to further his studies. He liked some subjects better than others, but again he scored high marks in all subjects. He was highly gifted in mathematics and physics. Einstein had a different perception about education that was not accepted by the authorities. However, he had the conviction to follow his mind and eventually proved the assessment of the headmaster wrong. My dear students, let me give you some of the questions to check your understanding skills of the chapter. Right? Please listen it carefully and try to write answers of these questions. Number 1. Make a diary entry as Albert Einstein on your feelings after receiving the Nobel Prize. Second question. Einstein's mother thought he was a freak and the headmaster said he'll never make a success at anything. On the basis of these comments and after reading the lessons, write an article for your school magazine on the topic, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Question number 3. If Einstein had been a very sensitive and emotional person, what do you think would have happened to the world of science? My dear students, I request all of you to listen to this audio content carefully and go through the chapter again. If you face any kind of problem, please convey the same to me. Thank you.